stop. Listen. What you are about to hear is not an ordinary political speech. It is not another recycled promise. This is, in his own words, a blueprint for liberation. A plan forged in fire, sharpened by centuries of pain, and now hurled like a spear straight into the heart of empire. Ibrahim Traoré does not whisper. He does not bow. He stands tall, shoulders squared, eyes burning like steel, and declares to the world, enough. At this very moment, in the dust-filled capital of Ouagadougou, a storm erupts, not of bullets or bombs, but of words powerful enough to tear history in half. For generations, the empire decided who lived, who starved, who kneeled. But tonight, that empire is being challenged. A young soldier in uniform, armed not with tanks or treaties, but with the fiery heartbeat of millions, dares to flip the board, dares to shatter the script. This is not an address. This is a battle cry, a fuse lit. A line of fire drawn across the map of Africa and beyond Africa, across oceans, into Harlem, into Kingston, into Brixton, wherever black voices have been silenced, his words erupt like thunder. This is not rhetoric. This is resistance, not hope. Defiance, not a man begging for mercy. A generation demanding power. The world has just been put on notice. And you, the one watching this right now, are part of that notice if you believe this fire must burn brighter. Then leave your mark, a comment, a share, a single click to subscribe. Because history is never written by those who stand aside, but by those who dare to let their voices be heard. From Africa to America, two pains that seemed different, but were in fact controlled by the same hand. The history of oppression never wears just one face. In Africa, it carried the name colonialism. Armies marched in, foreign flags were planted, land was seized, resources stolen, the voices of the people forced into silence. In America, it wore a different mask. Police patrols in black neighborhoods, a knee pressed against a man's neck, prisons filled with generations, schools starved of funds, yet suspicion overflowing. Different places, different forms, but the same system pulling the strings. At first glance, you might think these are two separate stories, one in Africa, one in America. But listen closely. Chains clashing in Congo's mines, a gavel striking in Chicago's courts, different sounds, yet the same rhythm, the rhythm of oppression. This was never an accident. It was design. Two lands, one book, written by the same hand, sealed with the same ink of power. And in the middle of this storm, one name rises, Ibrahim Traoré, a young soldier, a leader who will not bow. He is not just Burkina Faso. He is the voice of a generation that says, enough. But the greater question remains. What happens when the scattered children of Africa, across the continent and the oceans, choose to recognize each other again? What happens if Harlem reaches for Ouagadougou? If Ferguson speaks to Lagos? If Kingston answers the call from Bamako? And what happens if you, right now, decide not to stand aside? Leave your mark. A common amen. Because history is never written by the silent. History is written by those who dare to raise their voice. The chains are no longer made of iron, but of debt, media, and invisible algorithms. Oppression has changed its tools. Once, it was chains made of iron. Now, it is chains made of thought. They no longer need whips to control bodies. They use psychology to control minds. They use economics to control nations. Not prisons with bars of steel, but prisons built from algorithms. Your newsfeed, your search results, your credit score. each one designed to shape your choices without you noticing. Not soldiers at your door, but contracts, loans, and debt traps signed in polished boardrooms. They steal not with a gun to your head, but with interest rates that never let you breathe. This is modern oppression, invisible, sophisticated, deadly, and yet the pain feels the same. Birmingham, Ferguson, Lagos, Ouagadougou, different cities, same cry. We cannot breathe. We will not kneel. The pattern is clear. First came slavery, shackles and ships. Then came colonialism, maps redrawn by foreign hands. Then came segregation and apartheid, walls built inside societies. And now, neocolonialism, a system of economics, media, and politics designed to control without appearing to rule. They call it progress. They call it globalization. But in truth, it is the same machine wearing a new mask. Look at the contrast. On one side, the global system. It controls money. It controls weapons. It controls media. It controls the stories we are told. On the other side, the people. No weapons, no banks, no satellites, but an unbreakable will. A memory that refuses to die. An anger that refuses to stay quiet. This is the battlefield. Not only in Africa, not only in America. It stretches from the diamond mines of Sierra Leone to the streets of Detroit, from the oil fields of Nigeria to the classrooms of Baltimore. One struggle, different fronts. The empire wants us divided. They fear unity more than they fear any weapon, because when we are divided, we are manageable. Separated, we are predictable. But united, we are unstoppable. Ask yourself, what if the voices of Birmingham echoed in Lagos? What if the resistance of Ferguson inspired the youth of Ouagadougou? What if Harlem and Bamako marched to the same drum? History teaches us one truth. Division is their weapon. Unity is our survival. And so, the pressure builds. On one side, the empire, polished and powerful. On the other side, a rising people, scarred but unbroken. The tension grows. The line is drawn. The question is simple. Stay divided and controlled, or unite and change the world. And you, listening right now, are part of that answer. If you believe division has lasted long enough, say it. Leave a comment. Share this message. Subscribe for the journey, because silence is their victory, but your voice is resistance. The moment Traoré directly faced the empire, and the whole world held its breath for an answer, the hall is silent, all eyes fixed on one man. Ibrahim Traoré steps forward. His uniform is simple, but his words cut like thunder. You are not beggars, he declares. You are the children of warriors, builders of civilizations. Your blood carries the memory of greatness, and that greatness cannot be erased. The crowd holds its breath. Then he continues. They have nuclear weapons. They have armies. They have banks. But there is one thing they fear more than all of this. They fear our unity. The silence breaks. Applause. Shouts. A roar rising like a wave. Selma, Soweto, Haiti, Nigeria, Harlem, Lagos. From the streets of Ferguson to the townships of Cape Town, the names fall like sparks, igniting memory after memory. Places where resistance was born, places where blood was spilled, places where voices once silenced now echo across oceans. Traoré raises his hand. He does not speak of charity. He does not speak of aid. He speaks of return. Come back to Africa, he says, not as tourists, not as saviors, but as builders. Come with skills. Come with vision. Come with the fire of generations. Together, We will build what they told us was impossible. The words move like lightning, shared across phones, posted on screens, echoing in classrooms, whispered in churches, shouted in rallies. Young people in Harlem film themselves repeating his words. Students in Kingston write them on walls. Youth in Paris chant them in the streets. Across Nigeria, the words are turned into songs. Across South Africa, painted on banners. Across Brazil, spoken in rap battles. The empire watches and trembles, because the one thing they cannot control is spreading. Not weapons, not markets, but unity. Intelligence reports warn of a dangerous new movement. Newspapers call it a wave of defiance. Politicians label it a threat to stability. But on the ground, in the heart of the people, it feels different. It feels like dawn. Cameras capture faces in the crowd, eyes filled with tears, hands raised in defiance. For many, this is not politics. This is life. For the first time, they feel seen. For the first time, they feel powerful. The atmosphere is electric. It feels like the air before a storm. Every word a spark. Every cheer a drumbeat. Every silence a moment of breath before the world changes. Traoré closes his speech with one line, simple, sharp, unforgettable. The bridge across the ocean is rising. Step onto it, or be left behind. The hall explodes. The streets outside explode. The internet explodes. Millions watch. Millions share. Millions whisper the same thought. The tide has turned. The lingering question, will we continue just to survive? Or will we truly rewrite history? 400 years. 400 years of chains, ships, plantations, colonies, prisons. And yet, we are still here. They tried to erase us, but we created music that moved the world. They tried to silence us, but we built schools, churches, businesses, families. They tried to bury us, but we grew roots so deep, even fire could not destroy them. Yes, resilience is powerful. It is the reason we are alive today, but resilience alone is not enough. Survival is not a goal. To simply survive is to remain inside their design. The true mission is not to endure. The mission is to build, to create systems of our own. Education that teaches truth, not propaganda. Economies that serve us, not exploit us. Justice that heals, not punishes. Media that tells our stories, not erases them. This is the moment of choice. Our generation must decide, will we accept another century of survival, or will we complete the dream of true freedom, the dream whispered by our ancestors in the belly of slave ships, the dream carried through revolts, marches, boycotts, and battles? The question is not abstract. It is not for tomorrow. It is for today, right now. Look around the world. Old empires are cracking. Global systems once thought eternal are showing their fragility. This is not the end of history. It is the opening of a new chapter, but that chapter will not write itself. It will be written by those who act, by those who choose to stand together, by those who dare to believe unity is not just a slogan, but the most powerful weapon we have ever held. The bridge has been built, stone by stone, voice by voice, struggle by struggle. It stretches across oceans, across centuries, across bloodlines. It waits for us. And now, it waits for you. Because history is not made by the silent. History is made by those who speak, by those who act, by those who refuse to kneel. So I ask you, watching this now, will you be one of them? Will you step onto the bridge? Or will you stand aside while others decide your future for you? If you believe this message matters, leave your mark, comment, share, subscribe. Not as a gesture for an algorithm, but as a declaration that you are here, that you chose to be counted, that you refuse to be erased. Because in the end, one truth remains. We do not need them. We need each other. The bridge is waiting. Will you step onto